Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Terrence Jones. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you. Hope you're having a fabulous day, week, month, year, and life. Welcome to the Christopher Terrence Jones Show. You know what to do right now. Hit that subscribe button. Follow the Christopher Terrence Jones experience. It's a journey you want to be on with me. Hit that bell up there so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Always click like, share, and comment. Love to hear your thoughts about what's going on. Today, we're just going to do hot topics. There's a lot going on. This week has been crazy. Michelle Obama is in the news. We're going to talk about what she said. Marjore Taylor Greene is fighting with the idiot in the White House. And this was her ride or die. She was go, go, go. So she has turned on the party, allegedly. Or do you think? O.J. Simpson is in the news. So we're going to talk about him and the Epstein emails. 2,200 have been released from the estate. There's some stuff in there that you guys got to hear about. Cardi B, congratulations. Her and Stefan Diggs had a baby. Yay! And as soon as you say that in one breath, the next breath, we got to say lawsuit with Stefan Diggs. We're going to talk about that. So let's hop right into Marjore Taylor. Oh, my God. Y'all know Marjore Taylor Greene is a diehard idiot supporter. She has been with him through everything. And y'all know her because Jasmine Crockett read her with that bad Bill bleach blonde. We saw all of that. But Marjore Taylor, about a couple of weeks ago, she got on to she was on The View. And she really started speaking different talking points. Not the mean and hateful ones that she has been saying all this time. And she really has been the idiot's biggest ally. When nobody else was supporting him, she stood with him. He's a good man. He's good. He knows what he's doing. All of that. She said, it don't even make sense to come out of my mouth like that. And I said that because she's up for re-election, she had to change the narrative of what she was speaking, and her talking points had to change, because you see now she says that medical is going to be expensive for folks because it hit home with her sons. But why wasn't that your story the whole time? Like I say, the only reason I can say anything is that I feel like she's trying to make sure next year she gets reelected. So, with all that is going on in the world, how many other Republicans are going to start to think about re-election for next year and start jumping ship? Because are they ready to get outed and cast aside? Because the idiot in the White House says she's basically like the enemy of the Republican Party, and he has discredited her, and he is not supporting her anymore. How did we get here? How did we get here? And she's talking about, and she was on State of the Union, and she was talking about her past divisive comments. Yeah, those won't get you reelected. So of course now we got to start clearing up the air and saying, oh, I don't really want to talk about that anymore. I've talked about that in the past. And when you really have it, that's just shuffling stuff around. And how is it that you're going to get endorsed by anybody else after the idiot in the White House has removed his endorsement? So how will you pick up another one? Because everybody has to kiss the ring. They have to kiss the ring. And you're not kissing the ring. And are they willing to kiss the ring for you? What do you guys think? I just think she's done so much damage that it is so hard to repair what she has done. But she's making the the TV circuit out there. She is trying to get out there and change the way that you feel about her. Wish her good luck if she really is sincere about it. I just don't think it is. But we saw Michelle Obama out there this week, and she, as always, beautiful, fabulously dressed. She was out on a panel interview with Tracee Ellis Ross. And she said one of the most profound things that most people don't want to believe. And, you know, you guys were saying, Michelle Obama for president. Michelle Obama for president. Do you really think she wants to run? After all that she endured while her and her family was in the White House? Y'all talked about what she wore. Y'all talked about how she looked. Y'all talked about everything. But not yet was there ever one scandal from her or her husband. They walked out with their names being spotless because they had integrity. But she said on when it was a response to a question, you know, it's facts, y'all, baby, it's facts. As we saw in the past election, sadly, we ain't ready. It's a response to a question from Tracee Ellis Ross on whether there has been enough room created for a woman president. What do you guys think? Is it time for a woman president? Because clearly, let me read on. I don't know before I say that. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. We've got a lot of growing up to do, and there's still a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. That's so true. That's so true. You guys, we had Hillary Rodham Clinton run, and y'all voted for the idiot and put him in place. And what did he do? Tear down the country. Then, here we go again. Another educated, long time being in politics, Kamala Harris. She was the vice president. You knew what she was about because she had a track record of being for the people, fighting for the people, and not backing down when the issues were harsh and tough. But you guys didn't vote for her either. So, what does that say? What does that mean? You guys only want to support hate rhetoric because so many more of y'all came out to vote for him when that's all he spewed out of his mouth. But when you get intelligence, and I've said this before, Stacey Abrams was running for governor of Georgia. And I really believe why she did not win for governor is because the way that she speaks, you guys don't understand the words that are coming out of her mouth. Because she speaks as an educated woman, not a first grade level, second grade level. She's speaking on a highly intelligent level. And most of you couldn't understand. And I'm be truthful. There were some times I had to pull out the dictionary and say, hey, what'd she just say? Whoa. But the words that she used, you guys didn't understand. But she was trying to help Georgia. Kamala has done nothing but try to help the American people. Hillary tried to help the American people. So, why didn't you elect a woman? Michelle is so right. Because the white men who will not let go of power are not ready to be controlled by somebody who carries a purse. That's just real talk. That is just real talk. I don't even know if in my lifetime I'll ever see that. I'm happy to say in my lifetime that I got to see a black man in the office of presidency, being the president. And see, here's the problem with so many black people. Oh, he didn't help us. He didn't help us. Obama was not a black-only president. He was the president of the United States. He just happened to be black. So what he did was help everybody, not just one person. And here's something that I will say about how there was no scandal. And this is facts. Y'all can look it up. This is facts. Obama deported more people out of the United States than what the idiot in the White House has done. You just didn't see it. You just didn't see it. It wasn't done in the harsh way that it is being done, the inhumane way that it is being done, the carelessness that you going into schools and going after kids. That's just, you have no respect for the human race. Will we ever move forward? No. So if you're not ready for a woman, we definitely, I'm going to say this, in my opinion, I don't think we're ever going to see another black man in office. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, rough for that to ever happen. But there's nobody really in the run-ins right now that would stand up and be the one. What do you guys think? Love to hear your thoughts. O.J. Simpson made the news, you guys, because finally he is going to pay off the family of Ron Goldman, who passed away allegedly at the hands of O.J. Simpson when O.J. Simpson's wife, Nicole, and Ron Goldman were killed. Allegedly, O.J. Simpson did it. The court awarded buku money to the Goldman family. And so now the O.J. Simpson estate has agreed to $58 million payout, which is after nearly over 30 years or long ago that it happened. So the executor, Malcolm, I don't even know how to say that name. Y'all know I jack people's names up. He signed off on the Goldman's creditor claim. And so it's like 57 million, 57 million plus interest. And that amount is about half of the 117 million Goldman initially requested. A figure inflated by nearly 30 years of interest because he hasn't paid. So of course there's interest there. So to this day, it is still a tragedy. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered. And we still don't know who did it definitively. So, money can never buy peace, and it can never bring back the person who was lost. It just goes to do something. So hopefully the family will put something out there in a nonprofit and start something to support people, because what are you really going to do with all this money when you were already rich? You just, people get richer and richer, and you can't take it with you. You cannot take it with you. Oh yeah, Blueface just got out of jail, you guys. And he and Hazel E are in a relationship. So something positive happened this week too. Hazel E, you guys remember her from Love and Hip Hop LA? She was one of those characters. Oh, I should call her character. She was one of those that was on the reality show and talking about their life in the music industry. And you guys know Blueface. He is always in the news. Y'all can Google everything about him. He's always there. But that's what's happening there. Let me see. I'm kind of like happy for them. I liked Hazelwood. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop LA, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Wasn't really into New York or Miami, but I did watch New York a couple of times because my guilty pleasure is some reality TV every now and then. So you see all of that. Oh, but the good thing that happened recently, you guys know that the Supreme Court overturned the appeal. It shuts down the It shut down the appeal to overturn same-sex marriage. You know, a couple of years ago, Kim Davis was a county clerk, and she said that she would not sign marriage certificates because it went against her religion. And this is what I just need to say to folks. Your religion has nothing to do with your job unless you're a minister or a pastor or a chaplain. But when you go work in the state and the government offices, there is no religion there. Your job is to do your job. You don't have to like it. And if you don't like it, go find another job. But when you sit there and say that you're not going to sign off on marriage certificates and because it's based on your religion, you set yourself up for failure. Because I want to say, and I didn't research her past life, but I thought that people had said she's been married a couple of times. So if you've been married a couple of times, what does your religion say about that? Kim Davis go have seats in the dumb section. And I'm so glad with this Supreme Court that they shut it down, because this Supreme Court right now, we don't know where they're at. They are the idiot in the White House team, and they support everything he says. So who knows where they're at, but we are happy that they stayed right there. Everybody in this country should have a freedom to love whoever they love, a freedom to be with whoever they want to be with, freedom of the right to speak and live their lives. Stop trying to dictate how people live their lives when it has nothing to do with you. Nothing. I tell you, I don't care what my neighbors do. They can swing from the chandelier as long as they don't bother me and try to enforce or push their values or opinions onto me. I don't care what you do. I don't care. And I'm never going to care. I care about stuff that matters, stuff that's meaningful, stuff that affects people's lives. Like Grey's Anatomy star James Pickens Jr. has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Love him on Grey's Anatomy. That's something to care about, because we know that cancer can take somebody's life. And when it takes the person's life, it affects the family. Being that he's an actor, it also affects all of us who watch him. There are more important things on this earth than trying to take away somebody's right to be with who they want to be with, when it doesn't affect you at all, and it will never affect you. It doesn't mess up your household, because if you don't like gays, don't be around them. And why are you so worried about what somebody does in their bedroom when cancer is killing folks? You should be worried about, how are we going to cure cancer? That should be a major thing, because cancer, baby, it hits white, black, blue, green, red, whatever color. It has no respect to person. And my prayer is that he's been diagnosed early enough and that they can get, some type of resolve, and hopefully he can get this cancer out of him. But if not, it's crazy. So he said, it's not the kind of news anyone wants to hear. But to be honest, prostate cancer has run through my family. So it's hereditary. I've got a 90-year-old first cousin who's still alive, actually, and he had it. His son has it. A couple of his brothers had it. No one, as far as I know, has succumbed to it. So, that's a good thing. And like I say, you guys know him from being on Grey's Anatomy. He starred as Dr. Richard Webber in all 22 seasons of the ABC series. At the end of Thursday's fall finale episode, Richard told Dr. Miranda Bailey, played by Chandra Wilson, he was diagnosed with an undisclosed type of cancer. And so he brought it to the light of the show, but he was diagnosed earlier this year in his own personal life. So this is stuff that we should be focused on, stuff that matters, stuff that is going to make a difference in the world and make a difference in people's lives. Worrying about who somebody's sleeping with ain't gonna get you nowhere. Unless the moral high ground leader, the idiot in the White House, who is all up in the Epstein files, the Epstein emails. Let's see how y'all gonna be worried about that, because Senator Bill Casey was on Face the Nation, and it's a little bit of the transcript. I wanted to read this because it's crazy. And, they're talking about everything under the sun. But when you guys look up the Epstein files, you're going to start hearing Bubba. Now, if you've been around long enough, you know that was Bill Clinton's nickname, Bubba. Bubba. And so you're going to see Bubba in these emails. But is it really referring to Bill Clinton? No. It's not referring to Bill Clinton. So, as they say, it's an eyebrows-raising line from the newest released Jeffrey Epstein emails involving Bubba taking over social media. It's everywhere, y'all. We got to talk about it. So in a March 2018 email released to the public, Mark Epstein asked his brother to see whether former idiot in the White House advisor Steve Bannon could find out if Russian President Vladimir Putin had photos of idiot blowing bubble. So, idiot blowing bubble. What is your boy idiot up to now? The brother asked. Jeffrey said back that things were all good and that Bannon was with him, to which Mark responded, ask him if Putin has the photos of idiot blowing Bubba. And I thought, Jeffrey replied, using the Yiddish word for troubles. Mark wrote back, you and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. Ooh, get who? Get Hard. Bill Clinton has Bubba as a nickname, causing rumors, of course, to spread that the email was about the former president. However, Mark told Newsweek that it wasn't about Clinton, but declined to add more details about the email's meaning. The identity of the individual is still unknown, adding even more mystery to the bizarre exchange between the brothers. Whew. Ain't that crazy? So, while this is out, Senator Bill Cassidy is over there on Face the Nation trying to blow bubbles and smoke up in the air to get off of what we see. Because what we really see is truth. I always say rumors is nothing but a premature fact. And you guys know that this man has done some dirt. So Senator Cassidy is over here talking about medical. Since 2015, The idiot in the White House said he had a concept of what medical should be, but he's never pulled out anything. They never have a plan. You're playing with millions of people's lives. People's premiums who are $44 right now could go up to $2,600. Deductibles. All of this because 8 Democrats dropped the ball and caved and gave in with the other party. We needed to hold the ground, hold the line, dig in, and not move. Because the American people who voted for you to put you, senators and representatives, into the positions that you're in, Supreme Court judges, you need to remember the people. It's not the idiot in the White House who dictates, because it's not a dictatorship. This is a democracy. Everybody has a vote. Everybody has a right to say what they feel, which works best for their family. So while you're over here trying to push these Epstein files away and not talk about them, we're going to talk about them. We're going to keep it on out there because there's so much more to come. These emails, 2,200. We ain't even touched the surface yet. But I saw this and I was like, let me read this because I just think this is so crazy. For someone who does not have an idea or an actual plan to do something for medical, you keep saying you have a concept, and then this is what Bill Cassidy gets on here and says. And so the question from Margaret was, so how are you, Senator, coordinating with the White House on this proposal? So Bill Cassidy says, so we're absolutely in communication with the White House and with the administration because there's a lot of stuff that you have to work out to do. But let me give a little meat on the bones of what the president is speaking about. If you look at Obamacare policy now, there's a $6,000 deductible. Democrats are fighting to lower the premiums. You lower a premium on something which has a $6,000 deductible is basically a catastrophic policy. Now, I like to speak of the cost of being insured, not just the cost of health insurance. The president is proposing that we take the $26 billion that would be going to insurance companies if we just do a straight out extension. And by the way, 20% of that $26 billion, 20% will go for profit and administrative overhead. 20%, that's a lot, y'all. It's a lot of money for profit and administrative overhead. Give it directly to the American people in an account in which 100% of the money is used for them to purchase health care on their own term. Now, that makes them an informed consumer. It also helps address the need to have the coverage for the deductible, and they get that policy with a higher deductible. They can actually lower their premium. It's a sweet spot. Lower premiums help with the deductible, making the patient the informed consumer. The president and I are united. We should all be united about that. Now, you heard, of course, they're always trying to give money to their friends. 20% of $26 billion. They don't have anything etched in stone. So now they want to say, okay, so let's take Obamacare out of place, and then everybody has to go out and find their own benefits and pay for it on their own. Can you imagine what kind of nightmare that would be? Because if there's not one website, like here we have Kaiser. So you go to Kaiser and you sign up and you become a member there. Then everybody has to go out and find their own. So what are you saying? Every month they're paying? Or are you giving the money so that they can pay for it yearly? How does that work? How does that work? And he had no response. So Margaret came back and she talked about so many different things. But I like how she went down, and I'm going to skip down to where she says, so Do you want to fix Obamacare or do you want to eliminate Obamacare? He responded, first you have to we're going into 2026. That's like a month and a half from now. Huh? First you have to We're going into 2026. That's like a month and a half from now. That doesn't make sense. That was his response. He said, and so you've got to work with what you have. But on the other hand, Obamacare was a top-heavy, administrative-heavy type system in which a lot of money is a lot of money. And responsibility is taken from individuals and given to insurance companies. As for example, I'm a doctor. I worked for 20 years in the hospital for the uninsured. I found that if you give the patient the power, good things happen. That's supported, by the way, by the medical literature. If the patient is engaged in her health care and the health care of her family, she's going to be a wiser shopper. Wise for her health and wise for her pocketbook. We need to have a new model. And that model is to engage the patient in her own health care. Doing so is good for her, good for us all. But why disrupt what's already in place? What's working? Why take away from millions? If this was detrimental and it hasn't been working all this time, and if there was consistently problem after problem after problem after problem, I could understand you saying that let's get rid of Obamacare. But when you don't have a clear picture of what is supposed to be with a full proposal package, leave it alone. Because you're playing with people's lives. Nobody should have to say they can't get medical while senators, congressmen, White House aides, the idiot in the White House, all get good benefits. So if there's such a problem with medical and benefits, the $40 billion that you just gave to Argentina, you should have left that in there and gave everybody the same benefits that you guys have. That can solve the whole problem right there. Everybody should be on one benefit plan for the entire nation. But the irony here is that $40 billion went to Argentina. They have health care for everybody. But we don't have any money. We're broke. And you guys find money to give to other nations. You find money to do the stupidest stuff of life. And I don't understand. I really don't understand how we got here and why we're here. I saw this and I just had to really say, and I'm going to end here for the day because there's nothing more I can say after this. This presidency, this institution, this whatever they are, has done so much damage to our economy. $170 billion went to ICE and to Border Patrol. $40 billion went to Argentina. $1 billion to refurbish the Qatar jet. $230 million for the idiot that's saying that the Department of Justice owes him compensation for. $200 million for Kristi Noem's 2 jets. Why does she even need 1? Start there. And $98 million for golf outings, but 0 for medical. Y'all think about that. Hope you enjoyed. So much information going there. Read for yourself. Don't just go by what people say, because I'm always going to give you facts. I'm never going to give you something just off the top of my head. I'm going to research it when I talk about it. But read for yourself. You need to know what affects you. And to the rural countries that are Republican, you guys need to read more than anybody, because all of this affects y'all more than anybody else. Because it's sad to say that Obamacare, which is really the ACA, Affordable Care Act, affects y'all more because plenty of you guys are on it. Plenty of you guys are on it. And without it, because you didn't know that the Affordable Care Act was Obamacare, which I don't understand how you don't know that. When you go to sign up for the Affordable Care Act, it does not say Obamacare when you sign up. Just like you guys did not know that SNAP, food stamps, and EBT is all the same thing. You vote against your own demise. Stop letting people talk you into doing stuff because you think you align with their values, when the idiot in the White House doesn't even care for you. If you're not a 1%er, y'all values are not the same. He's cheating and stealing his way into everything he does. He tears down the east wing of the White House to build a ballroom that we Americans are never going to even get to go to. We don't even want it. Why do we need a ballroom? How many balls can you have? And why do you need to spend $300 million on a ballroom when people are homeless, people are not eating, people are dying because of lack of medical care? It's your boy, Christopher Terrence Jones. Click that like, share, comment, and I'll see you again. Bye.